G'day guys, it's Curly from Curly's Quad Shed Down Under. How's going today? Well, I've tried to do this video probably about 3 or 4 times now. It's been one of those videos where I just keep getting interrupted, things going a bit silly, nothing to do so much with the mounting process, just with little things that have caused hiccups and so forth. So I've had to stop and then get back to it. And once I lose my train of thought, I sort of have to start again. That's just the way I do things. Anyway, so we're going to put the camera down so we can see the working surface and we'll go from there. All right, guys, so we're down on the working surface now. Now, like I said, we've done our first boot, we've done our first skate, we've done our first LXT Unobtainium onto the Mizuno boot. They're pretty much 99.9% ready to go. So now it's time to do the second boot. So obviously I put a bit of tape down, I've marked the center, I put the Velcro dots on to line up the plate so we can see where it was in relation to what your foot requirements are. So I've matched up the other boot. And what I did, I actually just drilled through the plate to mark holes where I didn't have my self-tappers. Once I had the self-tappers in, once I drilled those holes, I put a bolt in 2 places, removed the self-tappers, marked the other holes, took the plate off, and then I now drilled out the holes to now 8mm holes, which accommodates the T-nut. So I just want to clean up some of those holes a little bit. There's a bit of gunk around them. Just use my little Ryobi knife here just to clean those holes up a bit. Just say stuff getting caught in the threads. They're pretty good. They're pretty clean. So what do we do now? We got to insert our T-nuts, or insert our little T-nuts in. These ones, I haven't cut the prongs off. I haven't cut the shafts down. I'm going to put them in as they are, and we'll see what problems can, if they arise, and what you can do when those problems do arise. So, but what I want to do first is actually just put a couple of bolts through, like a normal mounting bolt, into the second hole. So there's 4 holes at the front, 2 holes at the back. So in the second row of holes, just put a normal bolt through, whichever size you want, one that's going to at least pass through the plate. So at least probably a 6mm or M5, M6 M bolt. And we're just going to put it through the hole. This is just a way to hold the plate up, because if you've got something there to just help the plate, it just makes it a bit easier. So put those over. I just put those on, and I just use a T-nut just to screw onto the bolt, like a nut. Just helps hold the plate there so it doesn't spin around the place. Let's see if we can get these on, see if they cooperate. Right. So we're just putting those on there just so it gives us a freeze, just gives us a hand, makes it a bit easier. So the first ones we're going to do with the front, we're going to put 1 T-nut in the front. Now, keeping in mind, because it's quite fairly narrow, the tongue doesn't go all the way down. It does get, this is probably the trickiest T-nuts to put in. The 2 front T-nuts are the trickiest. 1, because it's not a lot of room there to get your hand in. 2, it's also the thinnest part of the sole usually. So that can be a problem. So what I do is I put a bolt through, probably one of the longer bolts, even though it's too long for what eventually we'll use. Put one of those through, put the T-nut in, find that bolt head, find that bolt, and get that to thread on. Now, like I said, it can be tricky. You have to sort of maybe manipulate around a bit and make sure you don't cross thread, which is always an issue. It can be an issue. So you've got to be very, very careful. Now, I've lined up the head there with the T-nut. I was going to go backwards a bit. So let's see if it seats in to the T-nut. And then we're just going to, feels like it's seated in okay. Okay, so it's taking now. And once you start screwing in, hold the T-nut down, and you'll feel it start to pull through. You'll feel it start to grab and pull in. All right, that's starting to pull in now. The teeth, the little prongs are pulling in. And I'm not going to do it up all the way, just enough so it's grabbed. Then we're going to do one diagonally at the other side, at the other end. So we're going to do the same again. We're just going to put a bolt through, put the T-nut in the hole, right, the other diagonal side. So we're going to do so I've done the front, that side. So I'm going to put one in here. So once again, we've got the T-nut through, holding the T-nut, put a bolt through. Now, you might need, on this one actually, go a little bit longer bolt, because you typically on the back, it is thicker, but it is also easier to handle at the back. So we've got our bolt there, we've got our T-nut. I'm trying to get the thread, put that on the head of the bolt, try and get the thread on. So it's a matter of trying to get the thread. And there we go. I can feel that threading on now. It's filled it, so it's not all the way through, not fully tight, it's just slightly tight. So now what we do is just repeat the process. We put one T-nut in the front there, another one at the back, or we can do one here. So we can take one of these out if you want. We can take one of these out. Now, put a T-nut and a bolt in. Doesn't really matter what side now. Well, obviously the one we took out. Put the bolt through, put the T-nut, oops. And we can see that there. We're just going to get that to thread on. Just go backwards a bit first, make sure it's going to seat. And feels like it's going to grab, just back off, don't. Make sure we want it to grab nicely. Okay, so that's threading on now for the T-nut. That's threading on nicely. And I can feel those teeth start to pull in. Okay, so I've basically got 3 in now. So if we repeat the same process for the other 3, I'll probably come back on camera. I'll probably get these done and I'll come back to you in a second. Well, or I could do it while I'm here. I can cut this down later if you want. Once again, T-nut, bolt, put it through, thread it on. So I said, just be careful about cross-threading. Just take it easy. You don't want to cross-thread them because they're a pain to get back out again. It does happen. It can happen. It doesn't always happen. Usually it happens when I'm on camera. So I'm not going to say a word. Now keep your mouth shut. All right, that's in. Enough. Now I can also already feel an issue that's going to be part of one of the issues. Now I'm just going to use this gold one at the front because I don't have any 2 more short black ones. Now there's going to be a reason for that, and I'll explain that later. So I was going to put the gold one in the front. Actually, I don't mind the gold. The gold aren't steel; they're actually aluminium bolts, so they're a little bit lighter. But you know, all right. So I've got a gold one now going through into the front. All right, that's threading on now. I said sometimes you just need to back off a bit, back off, feel like it's going to catch all it's a bit too tight. So you want it to go in nicely smoothly. Okay, so we've got that threading on now. So it'd be interesting to see what you think, gold or black. I'm actually not minding the gold in some ways. I might even swap over to gold. So I've got 1 more to go in the back. And that one's going to use actually I'm going to use a silver one in the back. There you go. So we've got all the different colors there. So different ones. You can see which we decide is the best looking one. Black, gold, or silver? What do you guys reckon? Okay, so the T-nuts are in. T-nuts aren't all the way, they aren't seated all the way in, but we are now lined up. So that's the way you do the T-nuts. Takes a bit of time. Take your time. Take care with it. Don't go crazy. You don't want to cross thread because then it makes them, they get stuck and it makes it really hard to get out. But I don't know if you can see in there, see if I can pull that open a bit. And you can see how the T-nuts are in. You see they're not seated all the way. And you can see that the bolts are poking through a bit. Okay, guys? All right. So that's putting the T-nuts in. All right, guys. So I've decided, so this isn't a really long video. I'm going to finish this video off now. So basically what I said, like I said, what we've done, we've actually put the T-nuts in. The T-nuts aren't seated all the way in. The bolts are too long. They're different colored bolts and so forth. But this video is just about actually putting the T-nuts in and that little tip of having the normal mounting bolts or just normal bolts there to line up your plate. So this is part 4, I think. So inserting the T-nuts. All right, guys. So we'll be back for the next part later on. All right, guys. I don't want to make this too long, too boring. All right, guys. Take it easy. See ya. Bye.